episode of Lost in the Farmer's Market Garden Life, where today we're looking at this lovely specimen here. Now, unfortunately, it's not yet in bloom, but it will be soon. It does look a bit like a certain other Asclepias we've dealt with, but it's not. It's nothing like the scandalous Asclepias, because, for one, the leaves are chunkier. So which one is this? Which member of the Asclepias clan is this? Well, its scientific name is Asclepias incarnata, and I believe the specific variety in this case is either Silky Red or Milkmaid White. Now, unfortunately, I won't know till they bloom, because they all look the same until they bloom. Hey, it's the price you gotta pay for joining the Asclepias clan, I guess. But anyway, its common name is Swamp Milkweed. It's in the Apocynaceae family, or the dogbanes, and Asclepias is the Greek god of healing. So that's where Asclepius, I should say, is the Greek god of healing, and thus Asclepius. That is because of its cousin, Asclepias tuberosa, which is pleurusi root, which is actually used for medicine, even though all of these plants have medicinal uses, and some of them can be cooked and eaten under certain circumstances. Again, research fully, kids. Do not use this to treat major medical maladies. You might die. And I do not want to hear about any cool garden people dying because they misdiagnosed or something. Anyway, incarnata, it was a little hard to track down what it means, but in this case it means flesh-colored, and I'm thinking that refers to the pinkish tones of the flowers on the traditional version of this plant. However, Milkmaid White will be white, so that's not a thing. And apparently, Silky Red will be deep red instead of the usual pink that this thing comes in. I don't care which color it comes in, it's still a milkweed, and the best part is it's still Monarch safe. That's what matters, because we're playing to win here in the test gardens, folks. Anyway, it is hardy. It is hardy in zones 3A to 9B, and that makes it a perennial. I should point out it is native to North America, so native plants for the win. It prefers a pH of 6 to 8. Its exposure is full sun to partial sun. Its height can be 3 to 5 feet, and its width can be 2 to 3 feet. So it's matching up pretty well with the scandalous milkweed, which we'll talk about soon enough, if we haven't already. And it's also known as rose milkweed, rose milkflower, swamp silkweed, and white Indian hemp. Lovely names. Yeah. So plants in the wild of this species, and sometimes in cultivation, can live up to 20 years. However, normally in the garden, they last 2 to 5 years, producing seed every year so that you can grow more of them, so it's not a problem. If they should just kaputs. This is the milkweed that can handle wet soil and has adaptations to it, and apparently its flowers are aromatic. We shall see. It is fully safe for monarchs because it does not carry that disease, because its foliage dies back after the flowers bloom. Now, as you can see, it's got lovely fat foliage there. Mosquitoes are thick today. And compared to scandalous plant, the foliage is noticeably different. So that's that. Now, I recommend swamp milkweed as an alternative plant. It'll grow perfectly fine in garden environments, but it can withstand the wet zones of your garden to a certain extent, so you have that option. As far as I know, it isn't invasive in its native range, but anything can be an invasive in the wrong range. Like when I got into an argument with someone over oregano, and I was like, oregano isn't invasive, and they're like, well, it's invasive in Ontario, Canada. I go, right, I'm not in Ontario, Canada. I'm nowhere near Ontario, Canada. It's not invasive in my state. It's not invasive in the states next to my state. Calm down. They weren't in Ontario, Canada either way. Anyway, but that's beside the point. Anything can be invasive in the wrong spot. As far as I know, this one isn't, but you never know. Now, I recommend it because it's easy. It's about as easy as the tuberosa type. You don't have to fight over it. It just requires regular watering like any other good garden perennial. And that's it. That's all there is to it. It's simple and straightforward. So if you have any thoughts on swamp milkweed, put them in the comments section. If you have any other thoughts about gardening, monarch butterflies, whatever, comment section. If you haven't already, hit like and or subscribe if you like the content. I always take suggestions for plants to be covered if you've got the time, if you've got a good idea. And the The Forge blog is on hold, as I mentioned, until January of next year, so don't worry about that. It'll be back. And beyond that, as always, folks, keep them growing. Thanks for watching. This is the milkweed section.